All right, guys, how's it going out there? Rooster here in Tennessee, roostercb.com. Been a few days since we've got a video up, but we're going to get back into the swing of things here and playing a little bit of catch up. This was a prepaid, pre-ordered amp. It's a one drive and four, as you can see, with a 2290 driver. And this one is for Mr. Earl. And he requested that I do a video on it before shipping it out. He kind of wanted to know where to set his dead key and stuff like that. So now keep in mind when I do these videos, guys, we're testing on a Bird 43P. So if you're not using one of these meters, the output I show you, the recommended drive I show you kind of goes out the window, because 35 watts out of this radio on a Bird, let's say, is not 35 watts on a Dosi. So some radios will show the same on a Dosi, some will show less, some will show more. There's really no rhyme or reason to it. The best way to avoid all that confusion is, if you're going to start spending money in this hobby, just get you a Bird meter. Use the same meter that your tech or whoever you're buying stuff from uses. I guess if they use a Dosi and that's what they want to go by, get a Dosi. If they're using a Bird, then I would recommend getting a Bird. But we'll test this guy out, see how it does. We've got our clamp meter over here. We're at 14.8 volts. I'm just going to start off and give it an audio here. Audio. You guys can see, just depending on the tone of voice, it can get close to about 60 amps. I think I told him somewhere between 55 and 70 amps just to be safe. Again, that all starts with what kind of radio you're using. If you have a radio that does more average power, it's going to make the amplifier draw more current. This radio, I think it does about 10 watts average, but we'll double check it at the end. Moving on, let's get over here to our watt meter, test our output. We've got a 1,000 watt slug in there. See if we can zoom in where you guys can see that. There you go. So we're going to be looking at the bottom scale. This is going to be average power first. And that's about a 100 watt dead key that we're rolling with right there. So at the end of the video, I'll show you the output of the radio, what it takes to get that 100 watt dead key. Could probably roll it up a little bit more, maybe 125 or so, give or take. But I'd probably stay between 100 and 125 watts overall dead key. Audio. Hello. Audio. Audio. So really just depends on our voice tone. It'll get close to about, 400 average, but really, on average, about 350 average or so, 365. Can bounce up to 400, depending on the tone of voice we're using. This is your PEP, or peak power. Radio check, 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 audio, 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 audio. About 850 PEP. And that's right along in lines with what we kind of expect out of these. So, next part of our video, our amp's not warm or anything. We didn't stay on it long enough. So no need in sitting here letting it run to cool off. Generally, I tell people, if you've talked on your amp for a while, don't just hit the off switch, because you've got hot components or, above average temperature components in there. But since we didn't stay on it long, it's ice cold. We'll go ahead and turn it off. And what we want to do next is see what our radio is doing. Just for a reference for Mr. Earl, he wanted to know what was safe to put into it. So we've got a 50 watt slug, and this is not even the one I usually use. This one reads a little bit more snug than my other one. This is my other one right here. So this element right here reads just a little bit tighter. So what we got? That's showing about a 2 watt dead key to 2.5 watt dead key. Again, none of this really matters, because the overall dead key is what's going to be the most important, okay? If you get this home on your setup and 2 watts makes it dead key 200 watts, okay, don't run it that way. Different stuff can change, what shows up on the watt meter. If your SWR is a little bit higher, a little bit lower, there's a lot of factors that. Your voltage, the length of cable you're running, there's a lot of stuff that can factor into that. But here on my meter, about a 2 watt dead key is what we're running into it. Audio, audio. Hello, audio. And this one shows about 9 watts average. And PEP, audio, 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 audio. Showing a little bit over 30 PEP. Let's see what my other slug shows. This one's 25 to 60 megahertz. This one's a 2 to 30. I bet this one's going to show about 35 or 40 PEP. Hello, audio, audio. About 37, 38. So a little bit of difference in the two slugs, but that's a reference for you, what I was putting into it. You know, one slug shows about 30 to 34 watts. The other one shows about 35 to 38. 2 watt dead key. Let's see what this slug shows. So this one shows about 2.5, okay? So there you go, Earl. I hope that video was thorough enough for you, man. Hope this amp serves you well for a long time. Nice running amp. I do have some more Fatboys available that I'm going to be posting up, let you guys know about. But this is a one driving four standard HG 2879s with a HG 2290 driver. Sometimes people like the 454 driver. This one has a 2290 in it. You can run either or. The 454, the 2290. I guess you could even put a 1446 in it if you wanted to. But the 2290 and the 454 seem to do a little bit better driving. All right, that's it, everybody. Hope you enjoy the video. Large case, 5-pill case, one driving 4 Fatboy. Rooster and 10, roostercb.com. See you, bye.